Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Plenty of great content coming your way throughout the summer and into the new season. Andrew Musgrove here. I just wanted to do a quick video on the fact that Pep Guardiola was crowned Premier League Manager of the season and ask the question to whether he's deserving of the honour. Has Eddie Howe, from a Newcastle point of view, missed out? And were the other managers who weren't even nominated who perhaps deserved the accolade? Now, from my point of view, no doubting Pep Guardiola is a fantastic manager, probably the world's best manager at this present time. No doubting Manchester City are worthy Premier League title winners, but isn't winning the Premier League exactly what we expected of Manchester City? And therefore, is Pep Guardiola worthy of such an accolade? I'm not quite sure he is. Surely, Premier League Manager of the season should be going to a manager who has achieved the unexpected. Now, from a Newcastle United point of view, Eddie Howe has done that. No one would have had Newcastle United nominated to qualify for the Conference League, let alone the Champions League. But that's exactly what Eddie Howe has done. And the critics will say, well, he's bought his way to the top four. Newcastle have got these really rich owners and they've spent, an untold fortune. Well, that's just not the case. If you look at the appearances from this season, then the majority of those who have played week in, week out were here before Eddie Howe and before the takeover. And that, for me, is what should be rewarded. This is what this award should be for. The hard work on the training pitch. And I feel Eddie Howe has been hard done by. You look at the likes of Joe Linton, the likes of Jacob Murphy, the likes of Miguel Almiron, Sean Longstaff, Fabian Schär, all here before Mike Ashley sold the club to the Saudi-backed consortium, all here before Eddie Howe came in, and now proper top-class Premier League players who will be playing Champions League football next season. If you'd asked people 18 months ago, 2 years ago about these players, many would have said, oh, we'll sell him, we'll sell him. Shall we keep Miguel Almiron? No, he doesn't do enough. 11 goals this season. Eddie Howe and his coaching staff deserve way more credit than they get. They have turned careers around at Newcastle United. And yes, they've bought in players, Sven Botman, Alexander Isak, Nick Pope, but they haven't spent loads and loads of money. I've got it written down here, the list of money spent this season by teams. Now, if you look at the net spend of Newcastle United across the two windows, 161 million. And there's quite a few teams who had a bigger net spend. Chelsea, 480 million. Man United, 203 million. Then you look at the actual money spent by teams. Manchester United spent 215 million. Chelsea, 540 million. Forest, 162 million. West Ham, 171 million. And Spurs, 157 million pounds spent. Newcastle only spent 163 million. So it's not all about the money. The money's played a really, really minimal part in what Newcastle United have achieved. Let's remember Newcastle United were looking likely to go down at the turn of 2022. At the end of this season, they qualified for the Champions League. It is an amazing achievement. And for Eddie Howe to be nominated is great, but he really should have won Premier League Manager of the season. To me, it's baffling. It's absolutely baffling. I don't want to downplay what Pep has achieved at Manchester City. As I said, they're worthy winners of the Premier League, but let's not pretend it's not what we all expected. And had they not won the title, their season would have been deemed a failure. So I'm not really sure it's worthy of him winning what is a fantastic accolade. I actually think there are other names on that list as well who could have pushed Eddie Howe close to winning it. Roberto De Zerbi has turned Brighton into a European side. A fantastic job there. Unai Emery coming in, Aston Villa looking like they might fall into a relegation battle. He comes in, replaces Steven Gerrard. They've qualified for Europe. Fantastic job. Really, really has done a really good job there at Villa Park. Had Arsenal won the title, then we wouldn't even be having this debate. It would have gone to Mikel Arteta because, to take Arsenal from 5th to the Premier League title, a fantastic job done. But they bottled it, so he's not in discussion. If it's a straight shootout between Pep and Eddie Howe, there's only one winner, surely. Well, clearly not, because it's gone to Pep Guardiola. But from my point of view, Eddie Howe has been hard done by. And before people say, well, this is a Newcastle United channel, of course you're going to say that. Well, look, I've already given you a couple of names who would have pushed Eddie Howe hard to winning the Premier League Manager of the season. And I'll give you a few more who I think deserved to be nominated, and one man who I actually think would have beaten Eddie Howe or should have beaten Eddie Howe to that title, and Pep Guardiola. So first off, Gary O'Neill, fantastic job at Bournemouth. They looked really good towards the end of the season. He stopped them from going down. When he went in, they were an absolute mess. Remember Scott Parker in charge. He'd been thumped by Liverpool. Scott Parker was really laying out some harsh truths. Gary O'Neill came in, steadied the ship. Fantastic job there. Thomas Frank at Brentford, not nominated. What a job he's done there. Really small budget. I know Newcastle United fans will remember what he said about Alexander Isak and how he kept, really going in on the fact that they could bring Isak off the bench. £63 million player he kept referencing. But that aside, I don't think we can get away from the fact that Thomas Frank has done a tremendous job in establishing Brentford as a Premier League side. But the one man who I really think probably definitely should have been nominated, and had he been nominated, I would not have been that disappointed had he beaten Eddie Howe to the title of Premier League Manager of the season, is Julian Lopetegui at Wolves. Now, when he came in just as the World Cup happened, so he had a bit of time to work with the players who weren't on international duty. But his first game was on Boxing Day, and Wolves went in that game bottom and on 10 points. They finished the season on 41 points. What a tremendous achievement that is. I mean, that is huge. Like, you can't turn your nose up at that. Absolutely brilliant. They finished 13th. They were bottom when he came in. That deserves such applause. And yet he's not even nominated for manager of the season. That, to me, is baffling. Had he been nominated and he's alongside Pep, he's alongside Eddie Howe, De Zerbi, Arteta, Marco Silva, he wins that for me. And this is what I mean. It's not just a Newcastle bias thing. Pep Guardiola, there were so many other worthy mentions who should have been, could have picked up that title of manager of the season. And I do think a lot of managers can feel hard done by. From an Eddie Howe point of view, will he care? Not one bit. But that doesn't stop us saying he's been hard done by. You go on social media, it's all everyone's talking about. What's good to see is, again, no one's playing down the skills and talents of Pep. They're just saying surely more worthy recipients of the award. And I totally agree. From the people nominated, it should have been Eddie Howe's. I do feel other people that weren't nominated would have been with a good chance as well. But hey, maybe it'll drive Eddie Howe on next season to go one better and win it next season after another great campaign, Champions League football as well to come. But yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts on that. Let us know in the comments what you think on the fact that Guardiola has won Premier League Manager of the season. Is he deserving of it? Has Eddie Howe been hard done by? Or those names I mentioned, maybe they deserved it a little bit more than Eddie Howe? Let us know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. And remember to head over to chroniclelive.co.uk to keep up to date with all the latest Newcastle United news.